Hello, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Genshin Impact. My name is Azwark, and today is video number 25, which makes it a very special day. We are going to do something a little different. We're going to go with an unscripted video. Obviously, I've got the webcam on here. I hope to do these once in a while, just to weigh in and maybe give commentary on something that doesn't really fit the usual format. And today, I wanted to talk about two things. Because this is the last day that I'm recording this, the last day of patch 5.0, I wanted to talk about my progress on the account that I have been running for purposes of recording footage for this particular channel. Obviously, I know the game well enough, but I wanted to have some footage that made it look at least somewhat relatable. Given the characters that I ended up with, maybe it's not so relatable, but I did want to give a recap of just what my progress was like and what my experience was in working through this account. So, we're going to take a look and we're going to see that I am just shy of adventure rank 45. Now, I've been playing this account for the entirety of patch 5.0, so that's 42 days, plus a little over a week before that, so let's just call it 50 days. I did start it just before Natlin came out, so I got to experience the benefits of all the things that happened with the release of Natlin. That's actually how I timed my start. I was like, well, they're going to give us some free stuff when Natlin comes out, so let me get the account going, and then when 5.0 comes out, we're going to get some free stuff. When the anniversary comes out, we're going to get some free stuff. And specifically then, that means that in terms of free stuff, I was guaranteed a free 5-star. Now, when I did my beginner banner pulls, literally the first wish I got was Diluc. And normally that would be fantastic news. For any of you who get Diluc as your opening pull, absolutely use him. For me, I was a little reticent to pull this guy out because, number one, it doesn't make the account very relatable if I'm running with a 5-star carry. And number two, this is not my first account. It's actually my third. I have my main account, which is on the Americas server. I once upon a time started an alt account on Asia, and more recently I began this account on Europe, and on every single one of those accounts, I've gotten Diluc early. Now, when I say early, but on the other two, it was around adventure rank 30, so like not right out of the gate. But the fact remains that I am very, very well versed in how to play Diluc. And I kind of wanted to do anything else but play Diluc. However, you play the hand that's dealt you when you do these things, and so the best character I had, by far, in terms of being an on-field carry, was Diluc. If you look at my other options, I had Noelle. Of course, we always have Kaya. In terms of other on-field carries, I didn't really have much to work with. Most of these characters came later. In my second set of pulls, I got, I think, Bennett, which is a great pickup, but I didn't want to use Bennett in tandem with these other characters. Not when I knew I had a free 5-star coming off of the anniversary selector, which I used to pick up Jean. So initially, I was running Diluc with Xingqiu. Xingqiu was another early pickup, and one that fits working with Diluc very nicely. These two were like, it was the Diluc and Xingqiu show initially. And the other two characters I was running, I kept Noelle on because I needed some kind of healer, and then usually the flex slot was Kaya, although that could vary based on my needs. I would sometimes hop over to Animo Traveler and sometimes over to Amber because I needed an archer or a fire unit, although not really fire if I'm running Diluc. But that was my initial account, and at AR15, I immediately had the resources to level these two guys up, and I did. I took them to level 40, alongside their weapons. Now, I didn't have good weapons to work with, so initially I had Diluc working on a debate club. And that debate club I continued with for a pretty good long amount of time. You can see I leveled it all the way to 70, so I did use it extensively. And similarly for Xingqiu, I was using a Skyrider sword, a 3-star weapon. Xingqiu loves his energy recharge, so I was using an energy recharge weapon to make sure that I had some. And that was basically my setup up until the free 5-star selector came out and I was able to pick up Jean, who I gave the prototype Rancor to because I didn't want to waste a perfectly good 4-star weapon. That was all I had to work with. And so that's basically how I was running things. It was those three and usually Noelle. But I wasn't really focused on Noelle. Noelle was more like a placeholder because I was like, I'm going to wait until I get a character I really want in this 4th slot. And so as you can see, I did level Noelle a little bit, but I kind of left her lagging behind. And at the halfway point in the banner, Raiden came out and I pulled on her banner and managed to get her. And I said, okay, this is a good character to have. Raiden is a good option for both on-field and off-field as a backup option, so I figured I'll do this, and I have reason to believe that at some point we'll get another Hydro character running, probably Farina, and I will, in all likelihood, replace Diluc with that, and be running 2 Hydro characters, Raiden and Jean. At least that's the short-term plan. Long-term, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play this account long-term. I've gotten all the footage I really need, but the one thing I really wanted to point out, and the reason why I'm kind of doing this video, is not to show off who I have, although you're welcome to take in all the characters that I have, that I've pulled on for the various banners that I've gotten off the standard banner. I can show you my wish history if it is in any way interesting. Right, here's our standard banner, and I'll very quickly go through what I've gotten. Not going to narrate, but I'll let you see if you want to watch what appears on screen here. In any event, what I really wanted to talk about was resources and resource management, because resources are pretty thin when you start the game. And one thing that I have come to time and time again on videos is trying to convince you that you should not level a whole lot of characters. That you should focus on like 1 or 2 at the very beginning that you like, and then add in a 3rd, add in a 4th later. And not focus on trying to play every single character on your account. I know that for some people it's extremely tempting to do that. But the reality is that you do not want to level too many characters, and I'm going to demonstrate for you why. Yeah, there's my very first pull Diluc. So as you can see, I am just about adventure rank 45. AR45 is a very important checkpoint where I want to start actually farming artifacts. And that means I need to basically have all my other ducks in a row. So when I look at my characters, Diluc is at max level right now. I've ascended him to 80. Jean is 80, Xingqiu 80, and Raiden is 80. And so are all their weapons. I've managed to get the weapons and the characters to 80. I have also made a point to get their talents all to level 6. When you are at lower adventure rank, lower points in Ascension, obviously these checkpoints are different. You want to get everybody to 40, then you want to get everything to 50, and then 60, and then 70. I'm at the point now where it's 80. And for the most part, I've been keeping on top of things, but also playing a little bit of catch-up, trying to keep 4 characters fully up to date. It's not easy. And the thing is, the game gets considerably harder if you don't have a team that you can lean on. So if I had, instead of leveling just these 4 characters, if I had leveled everybody to level 60 like Noelle, so I had a Kaya at level 60, a Traveler at 60, Amber, Lisa, Toma, Kachina, Lynette, etc. If I had like 10 plus characters all leveled to like 40, 50, 60, but the max level I can have is 80, the enemies would start getting really spongy. They would just tank my hits like nobody's business. Battles would take forever. The game would grind to a halt. It would be really slow and really painful. So I know that I talk about Rule 1, and Rule 1 is that you should play how you want to play, and therefore that means you should play who you want to play. However, I do believe very strongly that you should try to focus your efforts and not to play all your characters at once. That is one mistake that I think players make very often when they're new. They think, oh, I just want to try out all these characters, and then they invest into each of them. You can play them at level 1. Like, it is perfectly possible to just come into party setup and switch off and grab some characters here and have them at low level. As long as you have like one good character to kind of shepherd them. And, oops, I guess I didn't actually switch. And so we can do this. We can switch to this team, and as long as we have our one, strong character to lean on, we can run around with level 9, level 13. Sure, why not? Or just straight up level 1. Because you can get to feel how the characters play at that point. And the only thing that you'll be missing out on is numbers. Right? The damage numbers won't be the same. But otherwise, you can find out if you like the character. You can run around with them and be like, yes, I like this character. I think I should invest into them. Or, yeah, they're okay. They're kind of whatever. And I think you will find that that's a perfectly fine way to decide which characters you want to play. But the thing that I wanted to emphasize here is that I did manage to get all these characters to 80 with their talents at 6, but only just barely. And that's with 4 characters, just 4. So you really want to make sure you keep your characters at max level. That's the thing that I think definitely makes it harder for newer players, is if they don't keep up with that. When world level increases, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, I kind of look forward to world level increases because it means that the enemies are going to drop more stuff. But at the same time, when the world level increases, you have to increase with it. And so that's why I focus on trying to level a few very select specific characters. I know that right now it's hard to know which characters you want to have. So I fully recognize that it might not be an easy decision. My recommendation is pick one character, just one, that you like out of whoever you've got. Preferably somebody who has strong on-field potential, because you're going to be leaning on them. And then just put 3 other characters in the team that you can trade off, hopefully that have short abilities, like Kai has a very quick cooldown, for instance. Animo Traveler does have a quick cooldown-ish, but it's not very good. Amber, Lisa, they're kind of whatever. They don't do a whole lot. But you've probably got some other characters you've picked up. Noelle is good just to have on backup for using her shield. If you don't use her as the on-field, Noelle is actually a perfectly fine early carry until you lock into something you like a little better. And don't be afraid to call an audible. It's fine to say, okay, I've leveled this character a bit, but I think I'm going to go in a different direction. I do have Noelle leveled and ascended a couple times. You can see that she has, above her level number, she has 3 stars, meaning that she's been ascended a few times, whereas these other characters have 0. So, that was a decision I made, was to work with Noelle a little bit so at least she would be useful to me, until I ended up with Raiden, which came 4 weeks after I had started. So, you aren't going to lock in your full team early. It's not possible to do, and ultimately you're going to want to save up your Primo Gems and pull on not the standard banner. Definitely don't pull on the standard banner, except with the wishes they give you. The limited banner, I did so in order to get Raiden, and also to make sure I had Chevrolet, because she was one of the 4-star characters on that banner, and I wanted to have her for later, just in case. And other than that, I've been saving my Primo Gems now for waiting for the next banner, to see what the next big thing is. I think I'm going to be looking more long-term, and I'm probably just going to hold on to my Primo Gems. So that means that I'm not going to have a new character for a while. After you do the grind of getting all the artifacts that you want at 45, you can absolutely play however many characters you want. You just need that one strong central team to get your account going, so that when you hit this like mid to late game phase of adventure rank, that you are ready to go with it. AR45 basically, in my opinion, represents the start of the mid-game, where you are really prepping your characters for being able to handle the big boy stuff. And so, in that regard, we want to make sure that we're ready for that. And that's basically the moral of this entire discussion. If I did not do that, I would be having a very hard time. As it is, if I do want to fight a boss, for example, if I, let's say I come down here to fight the boss that is for Raiden, I will have a pretty easy enough time with it. I can fight this boss, and it won't be that big a deal. I will attack and I will deal damage, and I will be able to move through things. And even though this boss is immune to Electro, which means you're not going to see me using Raiden at all, I can still 3-man this one, no problem. And you can see my hits, they're maybe not super damaging, but it's a boss. They're not supposed to be. And so as long as I'm able to gradually make some headway, and as long as I know what I'm doing with this boss, which I do because I fought it a lot of times, and they did make it a lot easier than it originally was when this first launched. This used to be a really hard boss fight. Oh, where'd you go? There you are. So just in case you wanted to see me fight something, just for the sake of demonstrating where my account is at. This is me fighting a boss, not one of the earliest bosses. I could go fight like the Hypostasis or something like that. Oh, gotta run. Please don't zap me, Mr. Thunderbird. Ow. Yeah, you can do that, that's fine. You'll notice I'm dodging through a lot of stuff here. I'm just calmly recognizing all the attacks because I've fought this boss enough to know what they are. By the time you have a character that is level 80, you will have certainly fought the appropriate boss enough times to kind of have a plan. The only boss that is really tricky to do, even after you kind of know what to do, as far as early game bosses go, is the Oceanid. If you've got a Hydro character, well, I'm sorry. I had to endure it too, because it's Xingqiu. But, yep, there we go. Alright, so there's one boss down. Anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate what you can expect from your time and your resources and what you have to look forward to in terms of getting yourself ready. If you're wondering how long I have spent to get to this point, that's probably the last thing I should say, so I'll finish with this. I've been very interested in playing this account, and I have a schedule that allows for it, so I've been averaging 1.5 to 2 hours per day, something like that, and it's been about 50 days now. So we're talking somewhere on the order of 80 to 100 hours of time spent on the game. I'm not really sure. You'll notice that I did not bum rush trying to get adventure rank. I'm not like grinding out all the quests. I've seen some other guides that are talking about grinding quests. I didn't do that. I just let things come to me. A lot of the time I spent was wandering around grinding enemies just to get the drops that I need for Ascensions, which wasn't a lot of fun, but unfortunately Jean and Xingqiu required the same materials, so I did have to go around fighting Hilichurls a whole bunch. So, yeah, just, it will be a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, do the things that you want to do. I have finished the Mondstadt main quest, I finished the Liyue main quest, I have not even started on Inazuma. I gained access to Inazuma, and now I'm just kind of wandering around a little bit loosely. You can see my exploration percentages are almost non-existent, whereas I have done most of the exploration in Liyue. Not all of it, there are some places I still haven't been to. And then there's Mondstadt, which I have very heavily covered. I have a couple 100% on the map there, because I've got the treasure compass at this point and I'm running around with that. But we can talk about goals in another video. I want to cut this one off now that it's over 20 minutes. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.